It's AMA time, people. Thank you so much for submitting so many questions. I hope you like them. I hope that they're helpful, and I hope you'll contribute in the future. I'm not a huge fan of dictating what frequency should look like for you, but twice a week I would highly recommend having some sort of sexual experience, whether that includes intercourse or not. It seems like the two of you have probably grown apart, and I think it's time to do the work in cluing your partner in as to what you're into and what you really like, and hearing what he or she has to say about that as well. I'm assuming you mean when someone will not leave you alone. No contact, don't engage, you cannot give oxygen to this fire, it will snuff out eventually. This is a really tough question to answer because it's got to be so personal to what it is that you're experiencing, but I would say that if you are really unable to enjoy life because of the partner that you've chosen, it's probably a little too different. Easiest thing to do is to ask him if this is a good time to talk, but if it's not, when you can schedule something a little bit later or even the following day to have his full attention. This is another really difficult question because it's so personal. Again, if you've worked with a marriage and family therapist and both individually and together to try to work through things, and it's been at least 6 months to a year of trying and it doesn't work, it's probably time. Inability to orgasm or anorgasmia can absolutely be attributed to physiological factors, but also psychological. So make sure you're checking in with your urologist, your OBGYN, whoever it is that you trust with your medical care first. Feeling confident in your skin is super sexy, both for your partner and for yourself. You have to do one of two things: accept who you are and love it, or work on it until you get to a place where you feel more at home in your body. I can honestly say that the answer to this is a no. Being single seems really, really difficult and challenging, and I love being with someone who supports me, who I can support, and who it feels like the sky's the limit. It's a lot easier to talk about things. It's much harder to listen. So check and see if your listening skills are subpar, because that can set your whole communication off. Having a crush may seem like it's no big deal, and just because it's common to have a crush on a coworker, it doesn't mean that you should ignore it. Make sure that you get help from a trusted professional so it doesn't turn into something you'll regret. I think straight up telling somebody that you're interested in them and would like to take them out to get to know them further would be the easiest way to do that. But if they don't answer you back, or if they tell you no, you need to back off. Lead by example. The more you do as far as your own self-improvement to make a better life for you and your husband, the more likely he'll want to click in and be a part of that growth. It's probably because your partner has a tough time understanding that just because he admits that he did something wrong, he's not going to get beat over the head with it, or that it's going to be used against him in the future. It's really hard to get over the rejection when someone says they don't want you in their life anymore. Really focus on the people who do want you in their life, your friends, your family, your coworkers, all those people that can make you smile. Jealousy comes from insecurity, whether it's as an individual or within the relationship. Make sure that you are addressing insecurity and the jealousy will fade away. I know this is what a lot of people say, but I don't feel famous at all. I don't think that that's really had an impact on my life so far and on the life of my family. I don't really get treated that way either. So nothing's really changed. Unfortunately, sometimes religious or spiritual guilt can harm you and harm your lifestyle. My front desk is going to be reaching out to see if you'd like to schedule a session. This is such a complex question. A couple things to consider. One is, do you really know what your deal breakers are? And the other things are, when you're presented with things that you don't like, do you tend to turn a blind eye? Hard to answer without all the details, but I will tell you that sometimes we can idealize relationships after we've gone through them. So look back and make sure that you understand that the things that weren't working probably still wouldn't be working for you now. Having times in your life where your sex drive is low is to be expected, but to have it be non-existent could be a sign of something that's going on physiologically or psychologically. So address this with a medical professional or with a certified sex therapist. The number one question I have for you is, did your ex seek help for this? If someone is not actively working on learning how to manage their anger and manage their emotions, it's not something that should be your problem, and don't put yourself in the line of fire. Congratulations, you should totally check out the Dr. Viviana method for premarital counseling. The other thing is you need to check into what it is that causes you to feel aroused, what it is that makes you feel desirous of sexuality, and talk about it with your partner. I answered this question on TV. I did a few segments, so make sure you check out my links in bio, and hopefully that'll help. Try getting the point across in a different way. Write it in an email, send a text, maybe even write a letter. Sometimes it's doing the face-to-face thing that feels like a confrontation, and a lot of people don't like that. Fortunately, there are lots of options to get help from other wonderful therapists out there, especially now. A lot of people are experiencing telehealth therapy, and that is super, super helpful during this time. Make sure that you're getting help and reach out. All of you wanted to know about that white dress. It's actually like kind of a light bluish gray color. I leave all of that information under my highlights where it says styling. Join my Vivid Relationships community. It's at drviviana.com, and if you use the promo code VIVID10, you'll get your first month free. Of course, our love story is a long one, like most of yours, but we got married when I was 26, and we first met when we were in middle school. It's not a very popular answer, and I really don't care because what works, works. If you're not having spontaneous sex, you need to be scheduling it. We live very busy lives. Make sure sex is a part of it. What are you learning from rejection? Have you been switching the way that you approach? Have you been switching the way that you approach relationships and how you communicate in relationships? What have you learned? Once you learn something, get back out there. Congrats on all of the above. That's so exciting. Make sure that you're reminiscing about the past. What was it that you used to like to do together? What hobbies do you have now? Introduce new fun things and the spark will come. Phew! That was a lot. Thank you so much for contributing your questions. Some of you ask questions that require a deeper consultation. My front desk is going to be reaching out to you via DM. Thanks again. I'll see you soon.